Let me ask you something. Have you ever taken an AI answer, just copied it, felt impressed, and then thought, wow, that was easy? But now let me ask you a harder question. Did you actually think about it, or did you just accept it that it was fast? Here's what I'm seeing across so many industries right now is that people are just copy and pasting and they're mistaking this for intelligence. And this can be dangerous. Um, AI is not making us smarter. I won't say it's making us lazier, but smarter, faster isn't always faster. Faster is definitely not always smarter. And just using it to speed things through is not a strategy. It is a solution for chaos. It's a solution for a challenge that you're going to have coming out. So, today, what I want to talk to you about is basically how some of these AI tools are tricking us into thinking that we're smarter professionals. I do believe they can do that. I think we got to throw a little challenge in this. Um, what's nice about AI is AI produces answers instantly. It will give us great marketing plans, emails, marketing summaries, strategy outlines, even legal drafts if we wanted to. And because it feels instant, it feels satisfying, right? We get that quick dopamine hit. We feel productive. We got one more checkbox that has been checked off. And that's great. But AI doesn't know what it wants. It's trying to guess what it thinks we're looking for. It doesn't think, it's calculating. And when we as professionals skip that thinking step, which is what we will have as that heavy lifting job, it's we're kind of outsourcing the judgment, which is where our skills, our value, our proposition lies. And that's really where the trick is. The trick is to not get too overconfident with AI, but to use it in such a way that when we're working on these tools, it will give you those actual answers to move forward on. So let's bring this into some real examples that I keep trying to work with some people about and show them. So you say, let's create a follow up plan for cold leads. So it gives you an email cadence, gives you timings, text, messaging scripts, call intervals. It'll give you the whole thing. It looks organized, it looks structured, but it's missing stuff, right? It's going to miss your brand, maybe your voice and your tone. Does it even really fit the audience of your market? Does it know or even respect the relationships that you have with your current clientele? And does it even come close to matching your capacity? It can, but does it? Or are you just implementing something just because it looks good? Now, I will tell you at all times, I am not saying don't use AI. I'm going to say use AI constructively. I will also say something is better than nothing, right? So I won't don't get too caught up in what I'm trying to tell you today as a reason to not do this. But I do want everyone to start thinking about that next critical step, that critical thinking that needs to be put into our AI when we are doing those prompt engineers and when we are writing those great commands that we are giving AI to help make our life easier and so we can get more done. Just as I showed you earlier, if we don't prompt a lot of this stuff, we have to come back and redo and redo and redo and redo and redo. And that's fine initially, but event in the end, it's going to cost you more time and you might not be really saving any time. So that's what I kind of want you to think about with this. What I want you to kind of think is essentially fast isn't always fast, right? Um, Consistent, intentional steps a lot of times will get us to our place faster than just moving fast, right? If I take 3 long turns when I'm driving a car, even though I'm going 70 miles an hour, does not mean I'm going to get somewhere faster. It means I've missed turns or I've stopped paying attention to what's going on. And this is what I want us to make sure we're doing with AI is just thinking and breathing just for a little bit and thinking a little bit more about the conversation. You do this by adding a little bit of friction. Either have AI make that friction for you, have it ask questions, have it challenge your thinking, and you can definitely do that. But you could also just add that friction yourself. Ask the questions. Is this who it is? Is this my audience? Does it make sense? What are we trying to accomplish when we are working inside of these tools? Now, again, trying to add friction may sound counterintuitive, but again, we are not trying to add friction to stop. We are trying to add friction to gain momentum. And that's really what we're trying to do. Friction is going to help us cause that critical thinking. That thinking is going to let us be more evaluative in our nature. And with that, was going to give us better ownership of the stuff that we are using and building inside AI. And that's going to help us move forward in these conversations. So take a breath, slow down, ask good questions, teach AI to ask those critical questions for you. And that's going to help you filter some things out. I did that when I'm doing some of these videos. I'll be honest with you, doing some of this stuff the last year, I just use AI, did it because I got to get it done. But when I started asking critical questions for myself because it wasn't feeling authentic to me, it became a challenge. And now when I'm working on this here, it is much more effective and much better in my environment. And that's one of the leadership skills that I am gaining. Judgment is greater than just generation. I with the critical questions that I'm asking, it works. So here's kind of what I want you to think about when you're doing this. Is this accurate? Does this data or information you're going flow? Does it make sense? Again, remember, the internet is not always accurate in nature. So when you're chasing this out there, you need to validate it. Does the language make sense? Does it fit policy? Does it fit all of your ethical, legal boundaries that you may or may not be obliged to follow? This is going to help you do that. And again, you can teach some of that in AI, but this is going to be us. And when we're doing this inside of here, when we're doing this inside of here, it's going to help us move forward. So verify that information. Does it align, right? So the first thing, is it accurate? Next thing is, does it align? Does that make sense for what my voice is, my style, my authenticity? Does it engage with my audience the way I want it to engage, the way they want to be engaged? And will it actually make sense for completion of any projects that we're trying to do? That's what we need to make sure it's doing in there. And then last, what are those consequences for what's going on? If I want to send emails out, what's the goal that I want to have? Like, what are the consequences for those emails? What do I want to have out there in place? But more importantly, what's going to get them to engage, right? It's kind of called a second order of consequences. If I send an automated campaign, will the clients feel processed or will they feel in place, right? AI is still a robot in nature. So when we're working inside this arena, we want them to think it's us, not inauthentically, but we want to make sure it's in. We don't want to feel like they're just a number in the queue. They want that human touch. So when we're building this stuff, does it feel that way? Ask yourself honest questions. If I automate that market update, is it blah? Is it boring? If I rely on AI to summarize everything, will it just be too analytical, too whatever in nature? These are some of those second questions that we need to ask ourselves when we're in place so it's not out there. Again, it's not that you can't use AI, but we do want to make sure that when you're thinking about AI, you are thinking about who your audience is, whether it's you or someone else in place, and how you make this out here. So I'm going to tell you what I think my biggest concern is about AI right now. It is absolutely not that it's going to replace. I tell everybody all the time, AI is not here to replace us, to make our life easier. It's to simplify and let us get to that next level. But I do think right now we're a little too heavy on the reliance of AI, and it's reducing a little bit of our critical thought. So that's what I want to encourage you guys to do. I want you to get a little critical when you're using this stuff, evaluate, think a little harder about the conversations that you're having with the AI, and making sure that it learns how you need it to learn. Uh, you, your brand, your authenticity matters, and you do not want to lose it because we didn't take steps up front using AI tools to validate and verify that your brand, your client needs, your client wants, motivations, desires are being met authentically inside this area. So please make sure that you are using AI constructively and ask those 3 questions that we talked about earlier. This will help you, I promise, move quicker in the end throughout the process. But I want you to slow down just a little bit. Take that pace out there. AI is super powerful. I use it. I teach it. I really do believe it's here to stay. Nothing is changing. How we use it will change, but I don't let it do the thinking for me. I don't let it do all the stuff that some people let it do because I think it is there. Speed is a tool. Strategy is the decision. And if you want AI to lead in a world, you don't need more tools. You need stronger filters. So here's the challenge for the week. Before you implement anything AI generates, pause, add a little bit of friction, ask better questions, because professionals who thrive in this era are going to be the ones that don't work the fastest, but ask the best questions. I hope this helped you. If it did, subscribe, hit the like button. Tell me how you're using AI. Tell me the tough questions you are asking it right now to make sure you get the best results. Share in the comments below. Can't wait to see what you have. We'll see you at the next session.